Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Studios here, and welcome back to another video. And today, I'll be concluding my Damon Chazelle movie reviews leading up to Babylon, which I am going to be seeing in theaters tomorrow. And this is going to be on his previous film, First Man. So, First Man came out in the year 2019 and stars Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy, Jason Clarke, Kyle Chandler, Corey Stoll, Sierra Rand, Hinz, and that's how you pronounce his name, and Lucas Haas and Brian DRC. And this is a biopic of the life of Neil Armstrong and his crew, his NASA crew, and how he and um, he, Buzz Aldrin, and the other one I forgot the name. It's so stupid. Like we're the first people to walk on the moon. And but mainly focuses on Neil Armstrong as this movie not only talks about his life as an astronaut, but also talks about his personal life with his family struggles and especially struggles with his wife and dealing with the death of his 2-year-old daughter. So fun fact: this is the first Damien Chazelle movie I saw in theaters, and this movie looked really good from the trailers. I mean, 2020 was the year where I was like, I started to watch a few art house movies, like Oscar movies. I saw La La Land that same year as well, even though I wouldn't call it art house movie. Because it is entertaining in some way, but it's still an Oscar movie. Um, and yeah, I was expecting First Man to be like one of the most critically praised movies of the year. And even though I was never expecting it to be one of my favorites of the year, because that time I was more the blockbusters, action movies. I was a blind Marvel fanboy, a blind action movie fanboy. Even though technically my favorite movie of that year, is an MCU movie. Um, and yeah, so when I saw it, I actually had a really good cinema experience when it comes to that technical stuff, but I couldn't really get into it unfortunately because I was bored watching it in cinema, so and I didn't really want to watch it again. And for the and then a few years later, I think sometime in 2021, I decided to revisit this movie because it was on Netflix, and I don't remember the reason why. Maybe just cause I just want to see First Man again, and yeah, I mean when that was actually when I grew an appreciation for a film. I actually loved the film on like back then, and gave it a 10 out of 10. That was when I was fully invested in Oscar slow art house films. So I was able to appreciate films like this, and yeah, even though this isn't really a strong Oscar film, it was not a film that got nominated in a lot of categories. It only got four Oscar nominees in its technical sides. And yeah, so and then with the Damien Chazelle marathon leading up to Babylon, I rewatched this movie again, and what do I think of it now? I can't believe I'm saying this, but sorry 2021 self, but my thoughts in this movie have gone downhill. Yep, I kind of went back to my opinion on like when I saw it the first time. I think this movie really solidifies itself as a film that's definitely the weakest Damien Chazelle film as it's always been, even if I call it a masterpiece. But what I meant to say is that this is unfortunately a film that I don't love. Yeah, I mean I love Damien Chazelle. Don't get me wrong. I love like his films that came before this. But it's just that yeah I mean, yes, it is better than the first time I saw it. It is a tad bit better than when I saw it the first time. Like there are some things I appreciate and some things I don't like. But as a critic, unfortunately, I found so many problems, like a bunch of problems with this movie that kind of took it down from being a masterpiece. But yeah, let's definitely talk about the good things first. The um, good things first. Since I am still leaning positive towards this movie. Um, Yes, and I would say that this is a good movie. Claire Foy is amazing and easily the standout. Too bad she got snubbed for Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, like why Oscars? Because she carried the movie among the cast. And although I do think most of the supporting cast are decent, like Jason Clarke, Corey Stoll, and Kyle Chandler. Yes, maybe I'm biased because they are popular actors, and then there's like a bunch of actors I don't know about. Um, I didn't recognize that that's Sirana Hinds. But he's basically the voice of the lead role, like Pabi in Frozen, the Frozen movies. Um, and and yeah, and I do, and I do think Damien Chazelle did give a good direction. Damien Chazelle is usually like you view Damien Chazelle as someone who has a passion for Hollywood, and Jason wants to make movies out of it. Since most of his movies, yeah, his usual signature style would have jazz, a love for Hollywood, and a message of reaching your dreams despite the obstacles you face. This one tackles different themes of failure and how and success and all that stuff. Um, yeah, and all that stuff. I know there's a lot more to the messages to what I can't really summarize them like as of now. And yeah, so and David Chazelle still did a good job even though this isn't the film for him. I mean, at least he did his best. Um, the cinematography looks absolutely gorgeous. Yes, the shots of it is so cool, and plus there was actually this like in the third act there's this scene that pretty much paid homage to 2001 Space Odyssey. Like I literally got 2001 Space Odyssey vibes. Like when a camera like shoots in Neil Armstrong's face, you can easily notice that it's kind of like 2001 Space Odyssey. That's how good the cinematography is, and it's not a way that rips off 2001 Space Odyssey. It's trying to pay homage to that film. So yeah, huge applaud to that. And this movie is visually stunning as well. I absolutely love the visuals in this. Like the atmosphere of it. The visuals in space. I love space visuals, but if I were to be completely honest with you guys, this movie should not have won best visual effects. I mean, you literally got best sound editing and best sound mixing. Why did you give first man should have gotten those awards instead of visual effects? I mean, are the authors did the authors only give this the win just because this isn't the only blockbuster? I mean, I think this movie I think the winner for best visual effects in the Oscars in that year it should have been Ready Player One. Yes, Ready Player One has absolutely gorgeous visuals. I mean, yeah, the visuals in Ready Player One uh top 10 visuals of all time and easily the best visuals of 2018. Infinity War, I could have also been happy with Infinity War winning best visual effects. Even if Ready Player One has better visual effects, Infinity War is my favorite movie in 2018. So it would be cool for this movie to it would have been cool if Infinity War won best anime feature, but First Man not best visual effects winner worthy, especially with some competition. Um, and yes, like what I said, this movie should have won sound editing and sound mixing because this has one of the best sound effects in a movie. Period. It makes you feel like you're with these characters in space, and it doesn't even have to be in 40x. I mean, yes, usually 40x requires you to like if you want to feel like you're in a movie, you have to watch it 4x. This one makes you feel like you're with the characters, especially with the opening scene, like the way they did the sound effects in this and how the intensity. Wow. And but I mean, I know people say that that is the best scene of the film, but to me personally, my favorite scene of the film has to be the landing on the moon scene. I mean, that's like the iconic Neil Armstrong Neil Armstrong scene. The most important part of Neil Armstrong's life, and I know this movie did get controversy because they didn't make Neil Armstrong put the flag on the moon, and it was intentional to not offend the NFL players. Honestly, to me personally, I can't really defend it. I think they really should have put the flag in the moon, so it will feel a little more satisfying. Um, but I understand if they want to offend. I don't understand how putting showing a flag on the moon in the movie would offend the NFL players. That's honestly really dumb. But so I can't really defend it. And yes, in that dance, like I think what really I love about the dancing the most is the music behind it. I mean, Justin Hurwitz doesn't again. I mean, Justin Hurwitz, he just keeps getting better and better and better. I mean, despite yeah, he's getting better. Although I will admit though, this is actually a better score he did than Whiplash and La La Land. Well, Babylon is easily his best score yet, no doubt. But like, this is, I mean, this managed to dethrone like two phenomenal scores he made. That's really something. I mean, when I saw that the landing scene with the music, I got chills down my neck and spine. And yeah, so unfortunately, that's all were my praise. And so now I'm gonna be talking about my issues with the film that made a step down from then that made it a step down in Damien Chazelle's career. This is one of those style over substance movies where like it nails the technical aspects, but the substance feels absent. Um, I will say that Neil Armstrong's story was kind of accurate. Well, besides not putting the flag on the moon, which again is kind of a is one of my criticisms with the film. This movie is sort of accurate for the most part. But the problem is the way they tell his story. They focus on the wrong things. Yeah, that's pretty much my main problem there because this one really made me enjoy the film less. This mo- uh, Telling a Neil Armstrong story would focus on his work, on his space mission, on him like training and testing and doing a lot of test flights. But instead they damn, sorry, I dropped my phone. But okay, back to back to what I was saying. Instead of like focusing on those, they decided to focus on Neil Armstrong's personal life, like his family struggles, his struggles with his wife and with his kids, and a lot of that times it's mainly just Janet Armstrong, the wife, just worrying about Neil Armstrong. Although I don't really have a problem with that because like what I said, Claire Foy is the best character in the film and the best in the cast, and she gave an Oscar worthy performance. So her scenes shouldn't have worked. I mean, her getting too much screen time shouldn't have worked, but because of how good Claire's performance is, it's really good. But yeah, but the family drama is so like the family drama really drags the film out for me, and as I mean, it was kind of hard to care when I'm just waiting for Neil Armstrong to go on a mission or at least train. But no, they focus on this family life. Yeah. Ryan Gosling is one of the greatest actors of all time. So I cannot believe what kind of a performance he gave in this film. I was really let down by his performance, unfortunately. Now I will say that he was a good casting choice for Neil Armstrong, but like it feels like they only had like one take for his character. Like it feels like they only shot his scenes in just one take. Either that or Neil Armstrong thought he was ready, but actually he wasn't. Because I mean, it was just Ryan Gosling playing himself. I mean, I kind of saw the Neil Armstrong with him, like with kind of the hairstyle and the and just but like he doesn't really act like Neil Armstrong that much. I mean, he was bored. He looked so bored with his role. For most of the time, he was like using like such a straight face, like as if we care. So most of the time, we wouldn't really feel how he feels, making me care less about Neil Armstrong's character. And it's embarrassing when you don't have like when your main character, especially in a biopic, is the least interesting out of all the cast. I mean, Janet Armstrong is way more interesting than Neil Armstrong. I mean, if you're what, I mean, if you actually watch this movie and you don't know anything about Neil Armstrong, well, I don't know about how you feel about his performance, but I will say that this isn't a bad performance by any means. It's just underwhelming for the most part, and Ryan Gosling's worst performance. I will say that there is one scene where he actually had good acting. That was when he lost his. He was mourning. He was grieving over his the loss of his 2 year old daughter who died of brain tumor. Yes, I mean that was great acting right there, and that's great acting right there, and you really feel his pain losing a 2 year old daughter, and which is such a such a tragedy that it happened. And that happened, but otherwise, yeah, his performance. Yeah, I mean the writing in this film is just not very good. So overall, First Man is an adequate movie. I mean, this movie nails it in its technical aspects. It does have um I mean, it does have, like, it is gorgeous to look at, the way the cinematography, the visuals, chilling score, and a pretty solid direction from Damien Chazelle. But the writing really ruins it for me and the lead actor, giving a very mediocre perform, a very mid performance. Yeah, yeah, the movie focuses on what we don't want, what should be pushed aside. Neil Armstrong's family personal life should be pushed aside. But instead, his NASA scenes are the ones that are pushed aside, which is sad. And yeah, this yeah, the writing is not very good, and I actually was not very invested in Neil Armstrong's character. Yeah, this movie is super underwhelming. I wanted to love this movie, but I think it's just good at best. It's just adequate. This is definitely one of the most disappointing movies of 2018. I would say second only behind the Solo Star Wars Story, and yeah, yeah. So I'm really disappointed. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna give First Man a 7 out of 10. So also for my review of First Man, what is your opinion on it? Do you love this movie, or do you agree with me that it's good but not great? And I think we can all agree that this is easily. Well, most of us can agree that this is Damien Chazelle's weakest film. Some say Babylon is his worst film, but no, not really. Because I'll explain why I think Babylon it's a big improvement over this one. Yes, I have seen Babylon before, but I'm seeing it like better. I will say. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my more in depth and proper review of Babylon. So yeah, bye guys.